Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me while we look into some more reserve list cards and other market movers for this week. What I wanted to cover off first was some of the dual lands from the reserve list cards, especially from Revised, because they usually give you a pretty good update on what the market's doing. And I got some bad news for people that want to continue getting into this market, or maybe good news if you like the confidence of the market itself. Right now, it looks like there is no pullback. I know that we've asked this question before. That was a slight, frozen where it didn't really move much, but there is no pullback right now. And I am thinking that if you want to buy single cards like this, it really does depend on what the global situation is going to be. So I'm going to have trouble predicting for all of this because normally when people start looking into financial markets and how money is moving, and we're not talking about a small amount of money. I know that people always come back and say, "Hey, you guys are playing a card game and all that." This could be a week, day, or maybe half a week. So you don't really want to just make any assumptions here. So what I'm going to give you guys an update is, depending on what's going to happen in the economy, this still looks like an okay entry point, even if it does feel on the high end, to dollar cost average in. Now, I'd probably say that for almost anything, but maybe this is me calling the top, but it normally doesn't work the easiest way to predict that. But if you want to buy one dual land from Revised, you're not going to blow out the budget. You're not going to you just don't want to go all in at all times. You never know when the bottom's going to be, you never know when the top's going to be. So right now, I was actually looking at a Tiger from TCG, and the price is on average is 453, but I was looking at a lightly played for around about 417. 427 from TCG, and I'm like, maybe it's the last one I need to complete my set. At this point, I'm not expecting the prices to drop by much because of how much money is moving around. And while there might be a correction of 10, 20%, it's not going to be anything that's going to be long term unless something drastically changes with how the economy is behaving right now. And if the central governments and the governments around the world um, want to, I guess, not wreck, but like, lower the purchasing power of their currencies in order to create inflation to make it look like values of assets aren't dropping by much to give everyone confidence to continue spending, then that's probably going to keep happening. And I can't see any reason that's going to back down. Governments around the world are continually providing support. And, whether or not that's a good thing for people is the problem is that you're losing purchasing power. Anyway, completely different topic. So, Badlands moving up, Bayou moving up. They're all moving up. Plateau moving up. Savannah, Grublands moving up. Now, Tiger is the one I'm looking at. It's sadly still moving up, When I was looking at the rest of these cards, it was probably a quarter of the price that it is now, and which is why I was very hesitant. But even 262, that's double the price. Now it's moving up to triple the price, and that's just on the high end. You get a lightly played, then obviously you're going to pay a bit more because you don't know what the damage is going to be. So yeah, it's all going pretty crazy at this point, and I don't see any reason why it'll slow down. I think that Rudy might be correct as far as the amount of money that wealthy people have, and maybe you and I aren't it, but we can't let them have all of it, can we? It's kind of weird when it works out that way, but they always get in at the bottom as well. Um, Outside of that, tropical island. So yeah, I haven't found a single one of these that is like maybe volcanic island might be flatlining, but that's flatlining. Nothing crazy about it. Let's go on to the Commander 2021. There are some very clear winners in this, but this doesn't include all of the Commander sets. I might have to check if the other two here or the other one. So Archaeomancer's map is an amazing card, moving up by 33% in price. I don't think this is a really good card, Octavia Living Thesis, but yeah, you might want to try some fun deck. That's just matching up with the pre-existing Hellkite Tyrant is moving up by 10%, $16, but the original Hellkite is more $60, so they're just balancing each other out. Monologue Tax, I don't think this card is as good as people think that it is. It's right now sitting at 21.99. I just can't see how that's going to stay that way. It's very easy for people to control how many cards, how many spells they play a turn. And while, yes, to like combo off and stuff, they might need more, you're only going to get maybe one token out of this. Drawing cards with Smothering Tides is just so much better for, even if you had to pay one more. Elixir, nothing crazy with any of these prices. The drops, I don't think there's anything too crazy. These are all going to be pretty volatile, so let's move on to standard. Standard, some of the bigger ones are obviously going to be the new cards that are going to be coming out for Strixhaven. But there are some other cards in here. There's a Sprite Dragon isn't very impressive, but Thassa Deep Dwelling has dropped down by 7%, so $16.28. Another impressive one is Croxer is now catching up to where Uro was way back when. I guess the money has to go somewhere, so he's jumping up by 13% to $42. There is a Zilorth, which I assume is the Godzilla alternative art, and after the new Godzilla vs. Kong movie, I wouldn't be surprised if these are just moving because of that. Very, very smart, actually. Sadly, I didn't pick up too many alternative Godzilla artwork cards, but if you have a decent amount of them, maybe this is a market to start selling into. Another one, Ugin, moving up by 5%, Chromatic Ori moving up by 7%, Triomes moving up by 10% for Zagoth, is the black, green, and blue one, which makes sense, yeah. Green and blue, I think, is going to be a very powerful Commander 2021 deck. Lurus of the Dream Den is moving up by 12%, and that is a Strixhaven card. Dryad of the Elysian Grove is moving up by 7% to $19.10. That's a very hard card to now get your hands on. And Ozolith is moving up by another 9%. And once again, it's very hard to tell with the drops because they're all from Strixhaven. Thank you, MTG Goldfish, but it... Oh. Fable of the Wolf and Owl. This makes more sense now. I think I had someone mention that it was because someone leaked the information, but it actually makes more sense because of the fact that it's going to come in the blue-green deck. Is all about token generation with a commander that actually bumps up the amount of tokens you make. The only problem is it's an expensive card, but I guess it's got green in its converted mana cost, which means that you're going to be playing a green deck, and we all know the green decks in Commander are still quite broken. White might catch up depending on one card, but the problem is it's one card. You're going to have to depend on it a lot. Green is just far more consistent. The next one's Elish Norn, tokens, Essence Sliver, Slivers, Snapcaster Mage for the Mage Craft from the blue-red Commander deck. Very powerful. Grey Pact, I assume that's for the black-green tokens that come from a lot of the Strixhaven cards as well. What sort of Feast and Famine, I'm not too sure why that's moving up. Next one's Coat of Arms is dropping by 19% to $21. Wheel of Sun and Moon dropping by 13%. Aroyuk Champion is dropping down by 14% to 54. That one did spike a lot. And for the daily one, it's exactly what you'd expect. You got some illusion, you got some copy cards. You got Glitter Blossom for tokens. You got Blue White for just Grand Abator Augustin, but I think he's just a powerful card. Tamio the Moon Sage, she's $22 now. Snapcaster Mage, obviously. Phyrexian Arena, this card, seriously, I should have tried to get my hands on this earlier, but I only have one. Seasoned Pyromancer, that's maybe for Modern Horizons coming through. And Misty Rainforest and Arid Mesa. It looks like people can't wait for the enemy fetchlands to come out by the end of this year. Or is it maybe the end of the second quarter? So we'll have to see how that goes. So that's for Modern. Obviously, a lot of it is just Commander push. In fact, it's Modern, Pioneer, Standard. That's all for just Commander. And then you got Legacy and Vintage, which is all for collectors. So we only truly have two different markets. We got Commander and we got Legacy, and so we got Commander and then we got Collectors. That's pretty much what we have. We barely have anyone that actually plays them. Commander is just mostly an entertainment at this point. I mean, I try to play it with some of my friends, but it's not like you play it more than maybe once or twice a month. So you can. It's just harder to find the time. Next is Archangel Thune moving up by 9% today. Bonsai Sliver moving up by 17%. That's just a bit of a slow burner. Liliana, Heretic Healer, moving up by 7% to $27. One of my Lilianas, this version got a bit of water on it. It's kind of annoying. It's all bendy. Trying to flatten it out. My bad. Next, as foretold, moving up by 8% to 1348. I actually think that this, as foretold, moving up by 32% for the week to 1348. So this is a card that's really moving up. And I think it's mostly because the blue-green deck can really use a card like this. No, sorry, not the blue-green deck. The blue-red deck. Mage deck, I think, what can read this. Teferi Hero Dominaria. With the new C coming out, I'm surprised that this guy's getting a 13% bump for this week. 34 for 35. I know that a lot of people may not have gotten that secret layer, but yeah, that's a half of the secret layer right there in one card. Profros God of Forge moving up by 11% to $30. And Waste Not, another one of these cards that is all about discard effects, moving very late. $24.95, moving up by 8%. And Mirrorwing Dragon. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this card. It was a really good card. Oh, sorry. It was a good commander card way back when for any cards that allows you to bounce cantrips back to your hand. So it was really good in that red, white Boros Angel that lets you cantrip and then bring those back to your hand every turn. But he's moving up by 63%, which is quite impressive. And Omniscience, I'm pretty sure I covered this last time, is moving up by 30% to 28.50. Other than Tithe is not going to slow down anytime soon, but I think White is going to get quite a bit more powerful after this Strixhaven Commander series gets released. Lots of cards in there that are quite powerful. Ah, don't look at my cards. Oh yeah, these are the two cards I was looking at anyways. But yeah, so you guys can let me know in the comments if you think that the Tiger for 427 is worth it. I'm just looking into it right now. Next, Legacy and Vintage for the collectors. So we have a lot of... So there was a point where this used to be full of revised cards. Then it became unlimited last week. Now it seems to be Arabian Nights with Island of Walk, Ring, Aladdin's Ring, Singing Tree, Ifrit that are moving up. And a lot of the unlimited and I think legends are slowly dropping down. But here's the thing. This is just crazy market manipulation. Like, look at Shadowstorm from Antiquities, I think. $955. A percentage move of 2,330. Someone's fishing. Like, someone's really fishing. And that was today. So, Gaia's Cradle dropped down by 2% today. So crazy. I will admit, when it comes to reserve list cards, I've really backed off on keeping an eye on these, other than the reviews that I try to do every week once, to just go through the entire list or revised and just see which ones are bad and which ones are good. Doesn't seem to really matter for a lot of people because they still are not going to be printed as much as all of the currencies that exist in the world, which are ready to be printed into computers instead of actual pieces of paper and coins. Obviously, Unlimited is still moving up for the Vintage Spotlight. So that's a lot of Unlimited is just moving up, and then a bit of Alpha. And Library of Alexander moving up by 59% to $10,000. And I am done. That it is mind-blowing the numbers we're talking about nowadays. But I will admit that there's a good reason for it. It's just a really bad initiative from the government and central bank side. Pretty much they're telling us, hey, don't worry about money. We don't want you to save money. Put it into the economy. And a lot of people are not, the rich aren't putting into economies. They're putting into things that are going to be hard to get in the future. And that is things that are going to be never going to come back out, or even better, so old cards, or even better, houses, stocks, and other assets. that can give you some value back. This is like buying playable gold, in my eyes, or even better than playable gold as long as you can keep them in condition because you can dig more gold out. But it's just so weird that they're ready to push that idea. The idea of saving is not a good thing. Saving money in a bank is not a good thing. I guess we had to teach the banks a lesson at some point. Anyways, guys, have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you next time. See ya.